What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be giving the wagon some love. I have not messed with this thing in quite some time now, but I'm going to finally try to make a new manifold for this thing. So I've been running this eBay cast manifold for quite a while now, and I just don't like how the oil lines are ran. The feed comes really close to the manifold right there, so I'm kind of worried about it getting too hot and possibly like melting the rubber liner inside and starting to leak. And then I also don't like how the return has to be ran. I have to use this weird 90-degree fitting just to get it to like clear the block right there, and then it comes really close to this downpipe as well, so everything's all heat wrapped, all ghetto. But I do just want to make a new manifold for it. It'll look a lot nicer, and I'll just be much more comfortable driving the car around if I have a nicer manifold, because that's one reason I don't like to drive it right now, is because I really don't trust the way those oil lines are ran. But I think we're gonna go take it for a drive real quick, make some more boost on that manifold before we rip everything apart, even though it's kind of stupid because I should probably let it cool off if I'm gonna pull that manifold off today. But I want to get some miles on this thing, at least fire it up and let it fully warm up, and then start tearing into it, because it's been sitting for a long time. Got to pull the MR2 out and bring the wagon in. But now that we got that manifold all nice and hot, we're gonna have to let it cool for a bit. Alright, so the wagon has been sitting for a bit now. Everything is pretty cool. So I'm gonna take the wastegate off, pull all the oil lines off from the turbo, and then get the manifold off and start going from there. Also have to pull the downpipe and intercooler boots right there. So gonna get the old manifold all off, and then I can start mocking up where I want the turbo to sit and kind of go from there. I think that should work pretty good right there.
Yeah, it's got like a good angle to it.
Yeah, as long as the hood will still shut, which I think it will right there. All right, so we got the turbo unbolted from the manifold, and I bolted the collector I had to it, and I also got the head flange I'm using put on the block, and it's just on the head, I mean. And there's just some nuts holding it flat right now, and I'm getting ready to weld this tab from the head flange to the collector to hold the turbo where we want it. And it's just hanging from this cherry picker right now to kind of help hold it at the height we want it. So I'm gonna get this tab welded on there, and then after I get that on there, I'll be able to unbolt the turbo and then start making the runners from there. All right, so we got the tab tacked from the head flange to the collector. Couldn't really film it because kind of using all of our hands. And now we're just making sure that all these runners will still clear and nothing hits on the turbo. So they all look pretty good right there. So I think I might add a second tab coming from this side going to the collector as well, just so it has some more support. And then I can unbolt the turbo from the collector, and then, like I said in the last video, start making the runners from there. And then once I get a couple of the runners ran and kind of tacked to the collector, I can, you know, remove these tabs and then get the other ones ran, and then I'll be able to break everything apart and get all the runners welded up. But I'm definitely not going to be able to finish this tonight, but we'll see how far we can get. I'd like to get at least a couple of them ran. But everything's looking good so far, and I just have the turbo sitting low enough to where the hood should shut with no problems. And I did put a slight angle on it, so it's not perfectly straight. That will help with running the downpipe, and it helps with other clearance issues. So I did want to run it straight originally, but having a little angle to it is going to be the best way to go. You should probably also cover those so spatter doesn't get in there, but I don't think much got in there. All right, so we got the first runner all tacked together. I'm pretty impressed with it for doing all that with nothing but a Sawzall and an angle grinder. So it lines up pretty good, and there's still obviously 3 more to go. This one took good amount of time to make, so we have to get the other ones done. And just double check and make sure it doesn't hit on the compressor housing. You know, it should be all good. Yeah, that should be good. I think it is hitting right here just barely, but that's because it's not all the way on. But it's not hitting on the back, so that's good. All right, so I'm not sure where we left off, but last night we got these 2 outer runners all tacked together and pretty much ready to go. And right now I'm working on getting this middle runner made up, and all I have to do to finish that is get some straight cut to connect these 2 together. So I just kind of have a piece marked out right there to cut out. I'm just eyeballing everything on this, and it's been working pretty good so far. And I won't be able to make the runner for this one until I have one of these pretty much welded in place, because I'm gonna have to take this tab off right here because it's right in the way of where the elbow wants to go. So I'm thinking I'm gonna get this one right here all finished up and tacked together, and then I still need to take the collector back off and bevel the edges of the bottom of these right here on the collector, and it still needs to be welded all the way from the inside. You can't really see it, but it's not completely welded. So I need to finish welding some things on the collector, get it beveled, and then I think I'll try to get one runner pretty much welded all the way around for the most part and connected to the collector so it will hold it where it needs to be, and then I can take this tab off and then get that last one made up. But I'm gonna get this one done for right now, and then I'll just kind of go from there. So I got the inside of the collector fully welded up, and it's looking pretty good. I also got these guys beveled off right there, so I'll be able to put my runners back on and start getting everything welded together. So I just broke these off, and they're just held together with some tacks for now. And I do want to get one put back on, like I said, so I can get rid of this tab right here, because right now that's holding the collector where it needs to be, but I still need to make that fourth runner, and the tab's still in the way. And I also did realize after I welded the inside of this collector right here, I didn't actually even need to do it, because I think this is a silicone intakes collector, but they welded it from the inside all the way through. So not sure if you can see that, but it didn't even need to be welded on the inside right there, because they did weld it from the other side already. But I found that out a little after, and I guess it doesn't hurt to weld it from both sides. So did it anyways, and it looks pretty good. But yeah. Alright, so I got this first runner all the way welded up. It's looking pretty good. There was a couple spots that I wasn't super happy with, like right where it was tacked, but other than that, welds look pretty nice. And I know I said I was going to back purge these, but I just kind of tried it out without it. And with how well these are kind of butted up together, at least on this one, I'm not sure if the other ones are going to be this easy, because there are a couple little gaps on some of the other runners. But at least on this one, the gaps were tight enough that it really didn't sugar through the inside at all. I'm not sure how easy this is to see, but one of the joints is like right back there, and there's pretty much no sugar whatsoever. Oh yeah, there you go. So it hardly sugared like at all. You can see one little speck right there, and then like a tiny bit more on the left. But pretty much all the way around it was like that. So I think I'm just gonna weld this thing up without back purging it. And I know I really should, but this is for my own car, and I think if I just weld it a little colder than I normally would, I won't have an issue with a whole bunch of sugar coming through the backside of the welds, and I think it should still be plenty strong for what I need. Alright, so I was able to break that tab off and get the fourth runner made, and right now it is right here, and I'm just kind of welding it all the way around. And I've also been welding on some of the other ones, just some stitches here and there. I don't think I've done any on this one yet, but I've done a couple like on this one right here. I'm going to do a few more, and then I'll probably take that one off, do some more on this one, take that one off, and get them all the way welded up, kind of like how I'm doing on this one, and then I'll be able to fully weld them to the head flange and then fully weld them to the collector. So that's where I'm at right now. Just got to finish doing this one, and then yeah, like I said, I'll pull that off, then pull this one off, and then I'm probably just gonna go ahead and put some welds from this runner to the head flange, and then also do a couple to hold it to the collector. So then that one will hold the collector where it needs to be while I take these two outer ones off and get those welded up. But I'm getting really close to finishing this, so I think I'm just gonna stay up and get it fully welded tonight. And another thing I forgot to mention is I won't be able to have this manifold completely done for probably a couple days, because I did also want to put a V-band wastegate on this thing. And my old wastegate was this 2-bolt 38mm, this eBay one right here, and I don't really want to put the 2-bolt flange back on this new manifold. So I ordered a 38mm V-band wastegate, and that should come with the flanges as well. So that I will have to do another day, and then, you know, cut a hole and then weld the flange on for the wastegate. And I'm not sure where I'm going to put that yet, but I'll find out whenever it gets here. But yeah, I would like to have the manifold fully welded up for tonight. Alright, so this is as far as I'm going to get on the manifold tonight. It is pretty much all the way welded up. The only welds I still have to do are right here to connect the runners to the head flange. So all of those still need to be finished up, and the only reason I couldn't get those done tonight is because I just ran out of gas. So I would have definitely not had anywhere near enough to back purge it. So I'm going to have to get some gas tomorrow so I can finish that up, and then I'm going to have to wait however long it's going to be until I get that wastegate in the mail, and then I can add that on once I get it. But I'm pretty happy with how it came out. Everything else is fully welded up, everything up under there and everywhere else. Just got to get these welds right here done, but yeah, she's pretty much done. So I'm gonna get it on the car real quick and just see how it looks and make sure everything's still fitting how I want it to. So here's what it looks like on the car. Looks much better than that old eBay cast manifold, so this is gonna be a nice upgrade. And yeah, I'm really happy with how it came out. And let's see, set the eBay turbo in there. Got the turbo sitting on there where it's gonna be. There are no bolts on this corner right there, so it's kind of sitting a little this way, but you guys kind of get the idea. It's still not hitting on anything, and it's looking pretty good. Has a nice clear path for the downpipe. I want to make that. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do for the exhaust just yet, because this does have a full exhaust. So for now I might just run it straight to the ground just to get it running and driving, and tie it into the exhaust later on, but I do need to figure that out. It's going to have a nice easy path going right from the compressor housing to the intercooler right there. That should be really easy to make something to connect those together. And yeah, I am liking how that looks. And one of the best parts about this manifold is if I ever plan on upgrading this little eBay turbo into one of the bigger ones. This is a GTX 3582R, same one that's on the hatch. And the way we made this manifold, once I get this on there, like so, it will fit this big guy as well if I ever need to upgrade turbo sizes. So that's sitting about where it would be. The bolt holes look like they're lined up. The compressor housing doesn't even hit on the radiator support right there, or the whatever you call this. I think that would be the front radiator support. But yeah, everything clears. So if I do want to upgrade turbos later on, it will fit the GTX 3582R, which is about as big as I would ever go on this thing. But yeah, it fits really good in there. So I'm liking how that came out for sure. But anyways guys, that's gonna be it for this video. More to come on this thing pretty soon, but I'm happy with the progress I made for tonight. So unfortunately I couldn't completely get that all the way welded up, but I'll just get that done once the wastegate comes in. And then yeah, the Wago will have a new manifold, and then I just gotta get the intercooler piping done, get the downpipe done, and get the oil drain figured out, and she'll be ready to go. So that's gonna be it for tonight, guys. Thanks for watching.